All right, welcome to Knox Makers. It's Tuesday. Every Tuesday for almost 13 years now, we've had our show and share. It's where we gather and show off projects we're working on, maybe projects we failed or succeeded on. We like to see it all. We do have a sign-up list for that, so we're going to get started on that. First up is David, who's going to show off a toroid fan? Toroid fan?
I find that I get called out on spelling mistakes if I just make up words. No, I found this when I was looking for something else on Thingiverse, and it was said it was a fan. So I thought, okay, but it says it's a toroid fan. And I thought, what's a toroid fan? I don't know. But I looked at it, and it's, oh, wait a minute, I get it. It's a whole bunch of blades, and there aren't any sharp edges, unless you really work at it. But in general, it's just round all the way around, which is a little unusual, right? And the thing that struck me after I got it printed, of course now it's crooked from carrying it around all day, it's a lot more wind than I thought I was going to get. And I thought, well, okay, that opens all kinds of possibilities. So this isn't a whole project. This is a place to start a project. So what do you do with a fan? You could make a vacuum cleaner. You could make a robot vacuum cleaner that you drive with your phone. That'd be cool. You could make a bubble machine. That'd be cool. You could make one of those things that drags all the solder smoke away from your face so you don't get cancer from solder, if that's a thing. I don't know, but I just thought it was cool. So that's all I got. I think I got under 3 minutes this time.
Thank you very much. Next up is Neil, who's going to show us a floating bowl.
So back there in the wood zone, someone put a lot of nice pieces of wood back there, and I noticed this one piece of beech, long board about 4 feet by 12 inches wide. Actually, no, it's more like 15 inches wide, and one of them had some beautiful staining in it, and I went ahead and made this quick bowl out of it. All the staining came down the center of the board, and it looked so symmetrical that I was able to get that size of and shape of a bowl out of it. And it's shallow, and the base here comes out maybe another inch from where the bottom of this rim is. So when it's on a table, it does look like it's floating, because you can't see the base itself, hence floating bowl. And this was about 2 hours worth of turning time and about another hour of sanding and polishing. I finished it with walnut oil and beeswax. And I'll go ahead and start it passing around. I got one other thing to show in an announcement. You will notice that it's somewhat on the heavier side. Normally I would have turned it a little bit thinner and lighter, but I know at some point my wife is going to decide she wants it in the middle of the dining room table with a bunch of fruit on it. So heavy will keep it from tipping very much. The good announcement for those of you who are wood turners in here and have taken the classes or about to take classes, we have our first new tool has just come in. It's a roughing gouge, which we desperately needed. And looking forward to this. August 17th will be the next class, the 102 class, and that's where we will start using this tool here. Also, I'll be gone the second week in August when I come back, and we'll have the 2 classes, the 102 and the 202, and somewhere in those 2 weeks I will announce when the next 2 classes will occur in September. So keep an eye on the calendar towards the end of August, and if you're interested in the turning classes, that's when they'll be offered. Questions? Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Neil. Next up is Sean. He's going to show needle felting work in progress.
Yeah, so I haven't done needle felting in quite a few years, and so I was laid up on the couch the other day and was like, hey, let me try this again. And just pulled apart an old piece that never came to fruition and was just fiddling around, and I made a ball, and then I was like, let me just keep poking at it, and then it ended up looking like a human head, and I said, let me go and put some skin on that. But I didn't have any human skin tones, so I had green, and that turned into an alien, but then the alien turned into a zombie. So so I just kept going, and the mistakes became, that's just part of his zombification. So the slightly bulgy eyes that are mismatched in shape, that's just because he's a zombie. So if you're not going for anything that is remotely human, I recommend making it into a zombie. So yeah, his ears falling off there, which is exposing his flesh underneath, and the exposed brain. So yeah, it kind of reignited my my liking of needle felting. So I think I'm just going to turn it into a full figure. So hopefully maybe in a few weeks you'll see that come out. But yeah.
Thank you, Sean. All right. Next up is Sue, who's going to show a storyboard.
And hopefully this is a storyboard, not a storybook. Sometimes have a hard time keeping it to just 3 minutes. Back in second grade, I had a teacher that would have a flannel board, and then she had cotton cloth figurines, and she would tell a story and move the figures. Did any of the rest of you have anything like that in school? Were you a teacher? I'm seeing some yes and some no's. I'm feeling old. Great. Well, I don't know which came first. The inspiration for the storyboards came from quilters, or quilters took that inspiration from the storyboard. But you can, in fact, take flannel, hang it on the wall, and then put your quilt blocks on it. So for Knox Makers, I made a very large flannel piece of fabric. I've got some hooks. It will be hanging over there. And for those of you who don't quite realize what a storyboard or an idea board is for fiber arts, I thought I would share one way it's used. I made blocks, very simple log cabin blocks, right? But how do I put them together? So, as soon as I get this up again, so one way I can arrange them is putting them this way, or I can put them that way, or I can put all the dark pieces in the center, or I can start to make waves, or maybe put all the light pieces in the center. Oh gee, what do I want? So many choices. So then this is one that has just, here's all the differences, and you can maybe see the differences between the layouts on this. So these are just 4 squares. This will be a lap quilt, so it will have 16 of them. And it's very beneficial to have them all on the wall, and you stand back and you make sure one of them's not turned the wrong way before you sew them all together. And then you can just pick off the rows and sew them. And that's a storyboard or an idea board. And it'll be over in Fiber Arts. Thank you. Oh, was I under 3 minutes? My question for you. Okay. No, the flannel, it's sticky enough that you just rub it on there. And I was going to have 2 tall people hold it, and do that demo, but I thought that might end up going more than 3 minutes, so I'll just show pictures instead. And if you're curious, you can come over to Fiber Arts later, and I'll be putting it up on the wall. Okay? Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Sue. We flew through these today. That is all that we have on the list. Does anybody else have a project they wanted to show off and didn't get on the list? Going once, twice? Okay. We do have some classes in the next week or so. Woodworking 101, that is, I believe, the auth class for the woodworking zone. It's happening on Thursday at 6:30. There were tickets last time I checked on that. Embroidery machine auth is next Wednesday at 6:30. There were 2 tickets last I saw on that one. Next Tuesday is the new members onboarding after show and share. That's a required class if you are joining and you haven't taken it yet. It is required for membership, but also everyone is welcome. Also, August 3rd is Knox Makers' 13th anniversary. And so in celebration of that, next Tuesday, we're going to have a cookout. We'll have hot dogs and hamburgers and perhaps other things as well. So come hungry for that. If you are new here and have questions or want a tour, then come and either see me or somebody with a red badge will answer those questions after the show and share. We do need volunteers to take out the trash. Can I get a volunteer for the trash? Somebody? Yes? Okay, great. And I think one of the filters, the one by the woodworking, needs to be changed. Can I get a volunteer for that? Yep, perfect. That's all I got. So let's just go play in the workshop.